Hey, this is a little short video that might help you out with your homework that's due on Friday for Chapter 6. This is a survey that I put together for a research study I'm doing on social media, social comparison, and actually exercise addiction as well. I'm going to pop it into two separate studies. So what happens in the research process is you have certain concepts and you ask yourself, okay, well, what do I know about this concept already and what has already been researched? And then you look for the relationships, you look for any theories that's going to guide your research. But then what happens is you have to go about, well, how am I going to test this? And I could have done a few things. I could have analyzed people's posts on Facebook. But that's not going to be a very representative sample because it only has people on Facebook. I could have done an experiment, and I could have measured people's competitiveness and see if that goes up or down as they use Facebook. But I decided to use a general survey, so there's no manipulation in basic survey research. So with survey research, I put this general questionnaire together. So we'll talk about survey research next week, I think. But these are some of, and we talk about measurement, this is what we're talking about. I'm measuring exercise addiction. Now, I didn't come up with these measures myself. I found all these measures in previous research, okay? So as you can see, when I put this up on SurveyMonkey, and so I didn't want to give you that link because I have closed the analysis for that. But these were the questions that I asked on my survey. So this is actually a questionnaire, but these are all measures of something. And anytime you do a survey or a questionnaire of any kind, you always have to have each question directed to something unless there's some sort of deception necessary. So as you can see, for most of my response items, I have strongly disagree or strongly agree. So you would see a response placed at the bottom that would have this scale, strongly agree. So a person would choose, okay, strongly agrees. I mean, you've done this before. So this has been a published research on exercise addiction. I found there's a bunch of measures of competitiveness, and this is the one that I chose to be a reliable scale. So these two measures are using continuous level measurement. It's also called interval data. If you go to Chapter 6, you'll see that. Continuous level is kind of the umbrella term, but these are actually interval data, interval level data. Okay, so this is helpful to know for your homework. All right, now if you look at this is a little bit more complicated. Now, rather than saying strongly disagree, strongly agree, I kind of have a range. And this is sort of like interval, but could also be ordinal, but could also be categorical, the nominal level data, depending upon how I'm going to analyze it. If I'm looking for correlations, I want to use it at an interval level. If I'm doing an ANOVA, these are all statistical tests. If I'm looking for differences, then I want to use this at a nominal or categorical level. Okay, so it depends upon how I'm going to use it in the hypothesis. In my case, I'm looking for mostly correlations, so I'm using this at an interval level. But again, you can also use it at the nominal or discrete categorical. All those three terms can be used interchangeably. Right? So those are things to keep in mind. Again, this is my Likert scale. Okay, this is a Likert type responses. Okay, so these are the items on my Likert scale, but these these are the response choices. So these are, this is an Iowa Netherlands comparison orientation model. This measures social comparison about life, and this is social comparison about how people exercise. And now, rather than asking people their age, I did an age range. And to this day, I don't know why I decided to do it this way. When you measure age, in this case, I have it kind of like this as a continuous, but again, I could group those and make it a nominal level variable, so I can compare those age ranges, if that's what I'm looking for differences between those 18 and 24 and those 40 to 59, and look at the differences in their competitiveness to see if one age group is more competitive than another. Then that's how I would kind of group those. So I think that's why I did that. So rather than asking someone's age and just asking them, so that would be a ratio level data, I have kind of made this into a categorical, okay, categorical, discrete, nominal level. So here I'm not looking for averages. Here I'm just looking for the categories. What is your sex? Anytime you ask someone's sex, that is a nominal categorical level variable, right? Because they're either one or the other. Well, this day and age, you know, I guess these days you would ask, what is the sex you most identify with, or you currently identify with? Most people, I would hate to have an other. How many hours per week on average do you exercise? That is a ratio level data, continuous. It's continuous category, continuous level, but then it's a ratio level, because you can't have a negative hours per week do you exercise. You have it's either there or it is not. So you can have a 0 or anything above 1. I also asked, which sport or exercise program do you identify with the most? Okay, and this is my categorical level. So they could do all of these, but then that's going to really mess up my analysis. So I asked very specifically, which do you identify with the most? So that's very important. And so I said choose one. Because again, if you ask people to circle many, then it just messes up your analysis. Okay? So those are ways that you measure particular variables. Again, I had a couple of types of measurements, levels of measurement. Again, this is called categorical. It's discrete, nominal. Those used interchangeably. This is my ratio level variable. This, again, is nominal, categorical, discrete. I've made this into a categorical variable, and this goes back to your interval level data. This is also called a Likert scale. All right? If there's any questions, just don't hesitate to email me.